A quorum being present, this special town meeting will come to order. The warrant for this special town meeting was signed by the Board of Selectmen on April 10th, 2023. I'm going to turn off my ringer. That would be embarrassing. The warrant is posted on the town's official website pursuant to the town's general bylaws, and the warrant was posted by Constable Dakota Jones on April 20th, 2023. Therefore, I declare that the requirements of Chapter 2, Section 3 of the general bylaws of the town and Chapter 39, Section 10 of the Massachusetts general laws have been satisfied. The following tellers have been appointed for this town meeting. On the left, we have Leo Bizzio. On the right, we have Rita Garbett. On rear center, we have Nancy Lefebvre, and center front and stage, John Oliveri. All have been sworn by the town clerk. This meeting will be operated in accordance with Massachusetts general laws. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with my mic here. General laws, and by precedent of prior town meetings, we rely upon the volume town meeting time as the standard of conduct for Lakeville town meetings, and we will continue this precedent. If this is your first time attending town meeting, welcome. Town meeting is an old and honored tradition. It is one of the purest forms of democracy and freedoms that we retain. This is a legislative body that grants every Lakeville voter a voice, and I hope that by attending town meeting, it'll become something that you see as important and worthy of your participation in the future. When you first came in and registered, you should have received a copy of the warrant. If you have not received a copy of the warrant, please raise your hand now and one will be given to you. I see one hand over here. Oh, another hand over here. So we have two. Oh, one over here. Is that all? Ms. Garbett is getting those. She comes in. Please raise your hand again so that she can see who you are. We have one over here, Rita, and I think there are two on this side. Thank you. You see on the warrant articles that alert you to the business that we will conduct this evening. We vote on motions, not articles. For an article to be considered, someone must first make a motion, and that motion must be seconded. Think of the motion as activating the article and making it live. For articles on the warrant that were put there by the Select Board or the Planning Board, a member of these boards will be the first to make a motion. There are two microphones positioned by the stage to the left and to the right. You must be at a microphone to be recognized by the moderator. When recognized, please state your name and address. If you have a motion, please have it prepared in writing, and after stating your motion, present it to me. All discussion should be directed through the moderator. Comments should not be directed to other people on the floor or people on the stage. This helps keep the meeting focused, respectful, and efficient. I will direct the question to the appropriate person to respond when necessary. We generally do not limit how long you may speak, but please keep your comments brief and focused within the article's scope. In other words, the boundaries of the action proposed. This means that discussion must be on what the motion proposes and not introduce anything new to it. This is because the warrant warns the voters about the potential action in advance of the meeting. And I give an example because this has come up. Article 2 asks that the meeting appropriate a sum of money for thermal imaging equipment. A voter could not come up and make a motion that this should be given to, say, a dock for Long Pond, because that would be a better use of the money in their mind. That would be outside the scope. They could, however, say, well, we don't think that that's the right amount of money, and they could propose or amend a different amount of money. I will also try to give everyone a first shot at the microphone before allowing someone else to make further comments, unless those people are needed to answer a question presented by the speaker with the floor. I will exercise my prerogative to keep the meeting moving, and we ask that speakers only approach the microphone if they have something new or pertinent to add to what has already been said. It's not necessary to repeat an opinion already expressed. Please be respectful. Do not make your comments personal. I realize that sometimes topics can be very emotional and carry strong feelings. And not every vote is going to go the way you want it to. It's very important that we be respectful at town meeting. As a legislative body, we have a level of decorum that is expected. Do not make your comments directed at specific individuals at this meeting, nor should you start arguing or calling out from the audience. Any member who interrupts the town meeting in an unacceptable way will be escorted out and may not return. Every vote matters. Do not lose yours. By precedent, the maker of the motion will have the first opportunity to speak after the motion has been seconded. Following the motion maker's response, I will solicit the Finance Committee's recommendation and any other pertinent committee's recommendation, such as the Planning Board. Then, any registered voter is welcome to speak to the article. When discussion is finished, we vote. I would like to take a moment to explain amendments, as they have caused some confusion at meetings, past meetings. A motion to amend a pending motion requires a second and can be debated. We will vote on amendments one at a time. This will keep it from getting confusing. Amendments to a motion require only a majority vote, even if the original motion requires something different. If you have a point of order, you may stand and shout it from your seat. So one time I'll let you shout. To clarify, points of order are limited to whether the speaker has the right to the floor or whether the speaker is saying or proposing something irrelevant, illegal, or contrary to the procedure of the meeting. Calling the question ends discussion and debate. Attempts to call the question before adequate discussion time as a tactical move to prevent debate will not be accepted by the moderator. If you would like to call the question, you must go to a microphone and only call the question. In other words, you can't come, say your piece, and then call the question, shutting down debate. When you came in, you were given a pink voting card. Do not lose your voting card. They cannot be replaced tonight. During voting, please keep your card raised until I ask you to lower it. If I can easily determine the quantum of vote, I will ask you to lower your card. However, if we need to have a counted vote, I will ask you to keep them up until we are done counting. In cases with votes requiring 2/3, I will default always to a counted vote. This is because if just one person votes contrary to the rest, it has to be counted. So we're just going to skip that tonight and just go right to a counted vote. The use of voting cards assures that only the votes of eligible voters are counted. You notice on your voting card you have a yes or a no. This is for a balloted vote. If we choose to go to a balloted vote, you have your card ready, and I will explain how to do that if that ever happens. A motion to reconsider is acceptable only if new information has come to light that may have caused members to vote otherwise had the information been available earlier. A motion to reconsider is not acceptable simply because a lot of people have left, and now you think the vote is going to go differently. A motion to reconsider requires a 2/3 vote and can only be made once. Aponequid administration requests that we only drink water, no eating in the auditorium. Let us respect their space. We ask that cell phones be turned in silent mode. LakeCAM is recording this meeting and will make it available online on vimeo.lakecam.com, and I think Facebook as well. At this time, we traditionally recognize those members of the community who have served our town in public office and who have passed away since our last town meeting. This is an extensive list, sadly. Please stand and offer a moment of silence for the following people. Janice Swanson, Building Department, 2000 to 2021. Board of Appeals, 2012 to 2020. Planning Board Member, 2014 to 2019. Douglas Mills, Hazardous Waste Coordinator, 1980 to 95. Board of Fire Engineers, 1980 to 91. Acting Fire Chief, April of 92 to June of 92. Fire Chief, June of 92 to June of 95. American Rescue Truck Study Committee, 1987. Emergency Planning Committee, 1990 to 94. Emergency Plan Hazardous, 1991. And Municipal Coordinator for the Right to Know Law, 92 to 95. Roger Hamilton, Public Waits, 1965 to 1996. Insect and Pest Control, 69. Tree Warden, 1969 to 2007. Board of Fire Engineers, 1979 to 1990. Highway Surveyor, 1981 to 2006. Communications Committee, 1981 to 2002. Forest Fire Warden, 1983 to 91. Joint Transportation Plan Group, 84 to 2007. Municipal Coordinator for the Right to Know Law, 1984 to 1991. American Rescue Study Committee, 1987. Emergency Plan Council Committee, 1989 to 2007. Personnel Advisory Board, 1990 to 92. Fire Chief, January of 1992 to June of 92. Acting Director of the Lakeville Emergency Management Agency, formerly Civil Defense, 1993 to 95. And Drug Testing Officer from 97 to 2007. Marion Wolson, Treasurer's Office from 1997 to 1988. Election Officer from 1975 to 2016. And Barbara M. McCorkle, Conservation Commission from 1977 to 1982. Please remain standing to salute our flag. I pledge allegiance. At this time, I would like to introduce, you may be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce members of the town seated upon the stage. We have Lillian Drain, the town clerk. We have Michelle Randazzo, who is the town council. We have Brian Day, the select board. Lorraine first, Lorraine Carboni. I'm just seeing who we have. I have them out of order. Lorraine Carboni, select board. Leah Fabian, select board. Ari Sky, town administrator. Todd Hassett, town accountant. Chris Plonka, finance committee, and Lawrence Constant, finance committee. Did I miss anybody? I got them all. Good. Okay. The following non-residents have either requested to speak or may be asked to speak at this meeting. Michelle Randazzo, town council. Ari Sky, town administrator. Todd Hassett, town accountant. Mark Resnick, town planner, and Erica Correa, town treasurer collector. I need a motion and a second from a member of our community to allow them to speak.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your cards. You may lower them. Any opposed? I see none. Thank you. Motion was approved. Now that everyone has a copy of the warrant, I'm going to confirm that. Everybody does? Yes. I seek a motion to waive the reading of the warrant.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your cards. You may lower them. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion was approved. We have now agreed to waive the reading of the warrant, so we can go on to Article 1.
Good evening, everybody. I move that the town vote to pay unpaid bills from prior fiscal years as shown in Article 1 of the special town meeting warrant.
Need to hear a second.
Second.
Thank you. Would you care to speak to it, Mr. Day?
I would, thank you. So this is a housekeeping article. There's very often every year a number of small bills that do come across the fiscal year boundary, which then require us to approve it at town meeting for payment. I will just make mention, if anybody has a question, there is one item that is larger than the others. This represents 9 pupils at Bristol County Agricultural School.
Does the Finance Committee have a recommendation?
Finance Committee votes recommend approval.
The floor is now open for discussion. Seeing no one approach a microphone, this requires a 9/10 vote. This one we could maybe, we'll see what happens. Any opposed, raise your card. Okay, we'll do this right. All those in favor, raise your card. You may lower them. The motion passes unanimously. See how I gambled there? I'm risky. Article 2.
Can I get a microphone? Oh, sure. This one.
Madam Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate the sum of $45,000 for thermal imaging, firefighter tracking and pump operations equipment for the fire department, including anything incidental or related thereto, and to meet this appropriation transfer, the unused balances from capital projects approved at prior town meetings, all as shown in Article 2 of the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Fabian, would you care to speak to it?
Briefly, it's for thermal imaging and other equipment. I guess if we have specific questions, we could ask the fire chief, but
Okay. Do we have a Finance Committee recommendation?
Finance Committee voted to recommend approval.
Thank you. The floor is open for discussion. Seeing no one approach a microphone, we may move to a vote. And this requires a majority vote. All those in favor, raise your cards. You may lower them. All those opposed, please raise your cards. The motion passes. On to Article 3.
Hi.
Sorry.
Melissa Turcott, 1 San Mark Way. I move that the town vote to transfer $28,000 from the unused balance of the repair paint tennis courts project appropriation under Article 4 at the May 10th, 2022 annual town meeting to the Parks Repair and Equipment account.
Second.
Thank you. And Ms. Turcott, you are from the Park Commission, to
I
make sure
am.
everybody understands. Would you care to speak to it?
Sure, that money was appropriated to redo the tennis courts, and ARPA came in, we're so thankful for ARPA, and they took care of paying for the tennis courts, so now we have this $28,000 that we'd like to transfer over so that we can use it for repairs at Clear Pond Park.
Thank you. Does the Finance Committee have a recommendation?
Finance Committee voted to recommend approval.
Thank you. The floor is now open for discussion. Seeing no one approach a microphone, we may move to a vote. This requires a majority vote. All those in favor, please raise your cards. You may lower them. Any opposed? The motion passes. Oh, you have the business? Okay, so this is the end of our business for the special town meeting. Do I hear a motion to dissolve the meeting?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your cards. You may lower them, the majority has it. Now, we may move on to the next one, which will begin at 7. So we have a 9-minute break.